Alright, I'm starting the stream a little behind schedule this morning, but all should be well. Resuming with the Baby Yoda. Alright, let's blend these colors back together here. They get a little soupy and left alone in the okay. I hope that everyone has been sleeping well. I've been having a lot of trouble with my sleep lately. This is very thin. That's better. But like I was saying, I've been having some trouble sleeping lately. There are worse things that could happen. But it is quite annoying when you can't sleep well. Anyone out there with insomnia knows exactly what I'm talking about. And there are many reasons why it could happen. But this has to do with some things that are going on with me right now. And it's very personal, so I'm not really going to talk about that. Oh, damn, I got some brown on my green boy. Well, that's what this is for. Priming and painting. Blocking out my colors real quick. That's all I'm doing right now. Yeah, this is going to require a few coats to get coverage. I think I've thinned a little much, but that's okay. Even if I have to put 3 coats on, I don't mind. I've got the relaxing rain going on this morning. So if you can hear that, hopefully that'll be an additional bit of soothing to add to the relaxing tones of my voice. This is taking a while to dry. I could learn to wet blend with this. I've had a lot of bad experiences with my paint drying too fast, so I'm not used to it taking a minute to dry. I guess that's partially a symptom of models I've had for the longest time. That's all I'm going to paint coverage-wise right now. I don't want to go too far and not have anywhere to hold him, because I'd rather not hold him by the head. You know what? Let's just hold him by the head. Paint the whole thing up. By the time I'm done with that, it should be starting to dry up enough on the upper layers that I could theoretically go ahead and start throwing on another layer. That's one thing when you're painting. If you don't have the best coverage, then the only thing that costs you is a little bit of time, because you'll be just putting on a few more layers, and overall, that's not the worst thing in the world. Just take your time, work smoothly, don't make any major mistakes. See, we're starting to dry up, but not too much. Okay. How I know this was a decent paint, pardon me, is that I can hold it and it's not rubbing paint off. So obviously I did something right with that. Now comes the part where I realistically have to wait for things to dry before I can continue painting, which is a little annoying, but now I can start blending. I'm just going to mix all this together, and then I'm going to add a little white in so I can lighten up that leather color to where I want it. I'm going to mix my white back together too. It's very milky right now. Which is good. It means I won't have to add water to them once I blend them. Yeah, that's about what I wanted. Perfect. This morning, I'm drinking green tea. Just basic green tea. Very warm though. Very, very warm. I should have added a little bit of ice just to cool it down some. How are we coming? I'm gonna hold it in front of my fan. I wish I had a little bit of a heater or a blow dryer of some kind so I could just go ahead and firm up that paint. But this isn't the worst thing in the world. Makes for a very boring stream though, waiting for paint to dry. Now, I know what you're thinking. And what I'm about to do is just go ahead and start adding in another layer on top of this already dried stuff. I'll try fully blocking in the colors this time too. Just use the fine point on this brush. Reach in there. Try to get as much of that as I can because there's this crevice. And it's a very atrocious way to sculpt. They should have filled in more. And I could have gone in with green stuff and filled it myself, but I wasn't thinking about it, so I might have to just shade the ever-loving hell out of it with some wash. Take a brown wash and just go to town with it. So I'm going to finish blocking this in up here. Then I'll work on the second layer of paint. It's not that bad if I accidentally get a little bit right up next to him. I can always clean out the brush, dry it, try to get in there and pick up as much of it as I can. I made it worse. C'est la vie. Okay. Now, start throwing on that second layer. If you notice me loading my brush up a lot, that's just a habit. I'll refill my brush very consistently. Just, I guess, an idiosyncrasy I've got. I've got a little bit of a dark spot there, but it'll even out once we get a couple more layers. Though I'm shooting for just a couple of layers. Well, a couple more layers, I should say. That rain coming down is very soothing. And some of that's already dry. Awesome. Once I shade some of this, it won't be, oop, don't want to put extra brush strokes. It'll look a little more cohesive and you won't be able to tell that there's extra spots of color. Well, it looks like the majority of the paint's dry, so we'll move on to adding a layer a little further down. Mix in a little bit more of this, get my color where I want it. Probably shouldn't have just drawn that like that, but I did. Oh well. You live and you learn. Now if I had this dark spot over here, that would be perfectly acceptable, where I have some shading to do. But I don't. I have it right in the middle of a nice spot that's going to be highlighted. Luckily, it'll be painted over a good few times, because I do think this might require 3 coats of excuse me, 3 coats for full coverage. It's still early, I'm sorry. Sometimes I don't speak quite as well as I should. This is a tedious process, but for anyone that does decide to watch, anyone that is watching, I just want to provide a calm and relaxing outlet in the mornings for myself and for anyone that finds this soothing. Because we're far too stressed out in our day-to-day lives. And if you can just start your morning off feeling a little bit better about life, a little less stressed, then, well, that makes everything better. You can at least start fresh-minded, ready to tackle your day. That's how I look at it. Not to say some days I'm powered by energy drinks, because I am. But everyone has their vices. Caffeine. That's one of mine. Not so much that I'm addicted. My body has become addicted to it over the times that I have been drinking it. But it is more of a habit. Especially now that I'm doing this, I'm going to have my morning tea. And what else am I supposed to do with my morning tea than just get a little caffeine intake to bump me up in the morning? Go ahead and start on another coat here, since this is dry enough. Looks like 3 coats might be perfect coverage, but in some places I may have to do more. Especially these dark spots. Though I'll probably just have to leave those and hope for the best, because covering a dark spot with a lighter paint is a surefire way to work really hard for very, very little result. I think I'll run the stream. I don't know if I said this already, but I'm going to run the stream a few minutes past the regular cutoff, since I started a little late. I'm going to have to set my alarm a little earlier so I can get a jump start. I'd rather have a little extra time than not have enough time, and so I'm still trial and erroring this wake up. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have to get a little more brown out, because running out over here of the color I want, and I have too much white to smoothly transition back into the color. It'll just whitewash it, and that's not useful for me. I'm not ready for highlights yet. I'm not doing a lot of tea drinking, but that's okay. While I am fairly new to this hobby, it's not the worst thing in the world, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the time I have spent. Time for a little more brown. I got out way too much white. Way too much. Hard to drink tea while you're shaking paint. Getting to the right color there. Very good. Where's my dropper bottle? So, I've got a little tiny syringe for dropping water if I need to, so I can control my droplets. That looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, I like that. Good consistency. Go ahead and start laying it on. Might lay this coat on a little thick. Load the brush up pretty heavy. Just slather it on there. It is base coating after all. It doesn't have to be an exact science. It's just blocking out a lot of colors. I would like to be as exact as possible. That's the kind of person I am. But, man, it really is going to take a lot of coverage to get this robe taken care of properly. Get it to the right opacity. No, I'm not the best I'm not an expert at all when it comes to painting. I am, as I think I've said before, fairly new to the hobby, and so far I have greatly enjoyed every minute that I've spent doing it. It helps me zone out, it helps me relax. That's why I had the idea to do this as a morning stream, to help myself relax as well as help others maybe have a great, relaxing morning. And like I've said before, that is the key feature here. That is what we're going for. We're going for relaxed, calm, just a little bit of zen to start the morning, if you would. Now, if you're wondering, this is cheap brush from Target. So it's not as though I'm working with anything fancy here. I would love to have a fancier brush, but it's not the brushes you have. It's the amount of time that you are willing to spend working and practicing your techniques. Because you have artists like Sam Lenz and some of the others that just use store-bought brushes. So they can beat them up, they can do what they want, and then just buy a new one. Store-bought brushes. Cheap store-bought brushes, I should say. Brushes that you are happy to throw away when they're done. Though by the time you've thrown away at least 10 of them, maybe a little more than that since it's like $5 a pack, once you've thrown away enough of them, you've equaled out to the price of a Raphael or a Winsor Newton Series 7 or something like that. I've looked at some of the brushes from the paint companies that make them, like Creature Caster and Warcolors. I don't like... Army Painter brushes are good to start with, but I'm not a big fan. What I've tried... I have the Insane Detail brush, but I prefer using something like this. Just get a little bit of paint and just go in very carefully and get my paints working. We're coming up on the end of the stream for the morning. I said I'd do 30 minutes. That's what I told myself. And here I am. Oh. Oh. I oped it. That's probably all I'm going to get this morning, because I have less than a minute left on the stream. So, I'm going to go ahead and pop the top on the palette. And so far, personally, I think it's turning out pretty well. It's a work in progress. Oh no. Oh well, I'll just go over it. It'll buff out. It'll buff out. But I think it's going well. And I hope that you think so too. And for now, I guess I'll call it a night. So thank you for watching. And as always, relax. Take your day as it comes. And always remember that there's someone out there for you. Someone out there to help you. Someone out there willing to listen. Have a great day, everybody.